They laughed when the humans stood up. Inside the grand hall of the Galactic Council, filled with light and floating banners, the human delegation remained silent for a long moment. The others, alien leaders, old empires, proud species, were already whispering and smiling. Earth had brought another request for fair treatment, another plea for respect, another attempt at peace. The Korans, tall and armored, let out a loud laugh. "Humans still beg," one of them said loudly. "Such fragile creatures, so emotional." Even the Zenthari, cold and logical, showed a rare smirk. "Earth has no leverage," they said. "Their ships are outdated. Their reach is small." But the human ambassador didn't answer. He didn't even blink. He slowly picked up the documents he had placed earlier, peace proposals, trade agreements, security plans, and placed them back in his case. Then without a word he turned around. The other humans followed, silent as ghosts. No dramatic speech, no threat, no warning, just silence and exit. At first the council thought it was a joke, that Earth was bluffing, trying to gain sympathy, that they would return. But they didn't. The humans didn't respond to messages, didn't show up to the next meeting, didn't attend the emergency talks. Even when the council sent a formal apology, there was no reply. 3 cycles passed, still silence. Behind the scenes, a few curious species started asking questions. One small trading ship, owned by the Dravai, approached Earth's space to check if something had gone wrong. What it saw was not war, but preparation. Massive black stations were under construction near Jupiter. Strange, heavy-looking ships moved in patterns that made no sense to Dravai sensors. Some of the ships had no registration codes. Some didn't respond to hails. Others simply vanished from radar. When the Dravai ship tried to move closer, it was stopped by a small human vessel. The message was clear. "Do not approach. This is your only warning." That ship, a light freighter, wasn't armed, at least not visibly. But the Dravai captain said later he felt something he never had before. He felt watched, not by the ship in front of him, but by something else, something bigger. The Dravai returned home and told the council. They laughed again, nervous this time. "They are playing games," the Quran said. "A small show of strength, nothing more." But inside the council chambers, doubt had started to grow. Why had Earth walked away? Why hadn't they come back? Humans had always been loud, passionate, quick to protest when treated unfairly. This silence was not like them. The silence was worse than shouting. Then came the second sign. A long-dead listening satellite placed near the edge of Sol system suddenly came online. It sent out a single signal. Not in Earth's normal frequency, not in any known code. But the Council's deep archives recognized it. It was a military signal. From the first expansion era, thousands of years old, used by civilizations that were thought to be extinct. How did Earth have it? No one could answer. Inside a sealed council chamber, emergency discussions began. Some wanted to send ships. Some wanted to offer new talks. Others believed Earth had gone rogue and needed to be contained. But no one agreed. No one wanted to be the first to push. Because slowly, species who once ignored Earth began to pull back their ships from human space, just in case. A week later, a council observation drone disappeared while scanning Saturn's orbit. Its last frame showed a strange shape, massive, almost like a city in space, sitting in the shadows of the gas giant. No heat signature, no movement. But it had human markings. The council finally sent a message directly to Earth, a plea for clarification. No answer. Then came the third sign. From deep space far beyond known charts, a small probe returned. It belonged to Earth. No one had known it was out there. It carried a simple message. We watched, we waited, we warned. Now we prepare. That was all. The council went into panic mode. Some believed Earth had found something in the dark, ancient weapons, forgotten technology. Others thought humans had made an alliance with hidden powers, but again, no threats, No demands, no list of conditions, only silence. At night across council worlds, news channels showed old clips of Earth's speeches, times they had begged for peace, for inclusion, for equal trade. And always, they had been laughed at. Now no one was laughing, because Earth hadn't raised its voice. It had simply walked away, and in every corner of the galaxy, one question began to spread. What happens when humanity decides it no longer needs diplomacy? For now, the stars stayed quiet, but something was coming. Everyone could feel it. No ship entered Earth space. No one dared. The Council called it the Silence Zone. It started near Mars and stretched all the way past Neptune, a thick, invisible wall that no one dared to cross. At first it wasn't official, just whispers, just rumors. Captains shared warnings at deep space docks. Traders changed their routes. Scouts refused to take missions anywhere near Sol. Then, after the Dravai ship incident, the Council quietly added it to the restricted sectors list. Still, no one knew what was happening inside. Earth's signals stopped. Even the public broadcasts humans once sent out, music, stories, news, just ended. All human channels had gone dark. No calls, no trade, no diplomacy. Only silence. But silence doesn't stay empty forever. One small listening post on the edge of Alpha Centauri picked up something strange. A pulse. Faint, but clear, rhythmic, like a heartbeat, and it was growing louder. When the data reached the Council, the Xanthari scientists were confused. The pulse matched no known star pattern, no ship beacon, no satellite chatter. But it was structured, controlled. One Xanthari tech whispered something the room would never forget. That's not background noise. That's movement. They were right. The pulse came from Earth's direction, and it was coming closer. The Council held an emergency session. A few species demanded action. The Korans, loud as always, wanted to send a full strike force and remind Earth of its place. But the others hesitated, because the fear was growing. It wasn't just about ships anymore. There were other things, hidden signs. The automated colony on Valtrex 7, which once traded rare crystals with Earth, reported that one of its outer bunkers had been breached. No weapons fired, no damage seen. But the security logs were wiped. Only one line remained. Observation complete. They didn't know what it meant. They couldn't trace where it came from. The bunker's doors were sealed from the inside. After that, dozens of colonies began shutting their outer ports. They blamed pirates or sensor ghosts, but everyone knew the truth. Earth was watching, quietly, carefully, patiently, and no one could tell from where. Then came the Ghost Fleet. It started with a single blurry image. A mining ship near the asteroid belt captured it just before its systems failed. A line of shadows moving in perfect formation through space, no lights, no signals. The miners called them the Black Wings. Some said they were old Earth warships. Others said they were something new. But the most terrifying part? They made no sound. Even when moving right past sensors, they left nothing. No heat, no engine noise, no signature. Ships aren't supposed to move like that. And yet, these did. After the image was released, dozens of outer systems began asking questions. Who are the humans now? What had they built? How long had they been planning? The Council tried to respond with confidence. Earth is isolated, they said. They pose no immediate threat. But the words felt hollow, because deep down, everyone knew something had changed. Humanity used to knock on the Council's doors. Now, they were building something behind closed ones, and no one could stop them. Back on Earth, something massive was unfolding beneath the surface. The oceans were quiet, but deep below, strange lights pulsed. Storms circled empty skies. Old satellites began transmitting in languages that hadn't been used in centuries. People who once called Earth primitive now whispered another word. Ascended. No one knew what it meant exactly, but it felt right, because Earth had gone silent and become something else. One final warning came, this time from a neutral observer. The Lithari, a peaceful species who never took sides, had sent a scout ship to quietly pass the edge of the silent zone, just to listen, just to watch. It never returned. But 3 days later, a small black box appeared in orbit around their moon. Inside was a recording, a single message played in a human voice. We are not angry. We are not lost. We remember. The voice was calm, almost kind, but there was something cold beneath it. Not hate, not fear, control. That scared the Council more than any weapon, because humans were not shouting, not threatening, not invading. They were preparing. And no one knew for what. Across the galaxy, stars still shined. Ships still flew. Trade continued. Life went on. But something was changing. Everyone could feel it. The silence was growing. And deep inside that silence, humanity was waiting. It began with a whisper. Not from Earth. From the edge of the galaxy. A small outpost owned by the neutral Varnari picked up a strange object drifting in space. At first they thought it was debris, but when they scanned it, they found something terrifying. It was a ship. No engines, no lights, no life signs. Burned, broken, yet moving perfectly through the dark, as if guided by invisible hands. And it had Earth's markings. Old markings. From before Earth left the Council. The Varnari pulled the wreck inside their station. Their engineers opened the hatch slowly, fearing the worst. Inside was only silence. No crew. No damage from battle. Everything looked placed, like it was left behind on purpose. At the center of the ship was a single black box. It played one message when opened. They looked away, but we never stopped watching. The message ended with Earth's old seal, a symbol the Council had banned from use. The Varnari sent the box to the Council. The reaction was immediate. Panic. The Council had tried to erase Earth's presence, remove their name from records, pretend their exit was a failed tantrum. But this message? It was a warning. And it was not meant to be loud. It was meant to be found. By accident. That made it worse. Soon, more reports came in. Outposts near uninhabited space claimed they saw strange ships pass silently in the dark, not attacking, not signaling, just watching. One Xanthari mining team vanished near a collapsed star system. Their last message was strange. Static mixed with an old Earth song from centuries ago. No distress call, just music. The Council called it psychological warfare, but there was no proof. No evidence humans had done anything. Just fear, growing, spreading, quietly. One by one, smaller civilizations pulled their ships away from Earth's sector. The trade lanes dried up, stargates were locked, and still, Earth said nothing. The Council tried to send drones again. 3 were sent, none returned. The only thing that came back was a single metal plate. It was found floating near Titan, clean and untouched. On it were engraved 4 words in human English. You had your chance. Now there was no doubt. Earth was not hiding. Earth was watching and waiting. The fear began to spread into the homes of powerful leaders. Even the bold Korans, once proud and loud, stopped sending warships near human space. A rumor started among their soldiers. They said a fleet of black ships had followed one of their patrols for 3 days. No signals, no shots, just perfect, silent shadowing. Then the ships vanished into the stars like smoke. The crew returned shaken. The patrol captain resigned. He said one thing before walking away. That was not a warning. That was a message. Still, the Council did nothing. What could they do? Attack Earth? They had no idea what Earth even was now. The humans had built new structures. Giant towers floating above Mars, black rings near Neptune, things that didn't even match any known technology. Their ships no longer had heat trails, no visible weapons, no known communication systems. They didn't even fly like normal ships anymore. They glided, slid, vanished, almost like ghosts. And then came the transmission. It was sudden, open frequency, clear voice, a human voice, calm, cold. It spoke only once. We offered peace. We were mocked. We stepped back. You thought we were weak. Now, you may speak to silence. We are no longer listening. Then the message ended, and the entire galaxy felt smaller. All the powerful species who once laughed at Earth now sat in silence, because Earth had spoken again. And this time it wasn't asking. It was declaring distance, declaring detachment. But no one could tell if that was the final message, or the beginning of something far worse. The stars outside Earth's reach now looked darker. Ships passed through space a little faster. Commanders avoided old human paths, and still not a single shot was fired. But somehow that made it even scarier, because war can be expected, threats can be answered. But this was something else, something colder, something older, something patient. Now, across the galaxy, one question grew louder every day. If Earth does return, what will they return as? And will anyone survive long enough to understand it? The Council thought they had time. They believed Earth would stay quiet forever, watching, waiting, but never acting. They were wrong. It began with a single flash. Not a weapon, not an attack, just light. It happened in the Othari Drift, a dead zone of floating ice and broken moons. No ships ever went there, nothing lived there. But now, something moved inside it. A Council scout ship caught the light. Its sensors burned out immediately. Its pilot, a Dreven named Cole, sent a final message before his system crashed. They are here, but they are not the same. The message sent a wave of panic through the Council. Not because it was loud or violent, but because it confirmed something everyone feared. Earth was moving again, and no one knew what that meant. A patrol was sent to the drift, 12 ships strong, from 6 different species. All were armed, all were ready. But when they reached the drift, there was nothing, no flash, no signal, just cold space, except the stars looked wrong. The commanders argued. The map said they were near Sector 9A, but the stars didn't match. Then, one pilot screamed. Her ship's computer was showing her home planet Zurai Prime as a location, only 12,000 kilometers away. But Zurai Prime was 87 light-years from where she was. Then the screen went black. Her ship disappeared. No explosion, no signal loss. Just gone. The rest of the fleet turned back in fear. They didn't care about answers. They just wanted to survive. Only 3 ships made it back. All their crew were silent, pale, changed. One Koran captain said only this. They folded space. They folded us. The Council finally began to understand. Earth had not been hiding. They had been building something. Something that let them step through space without using gates or drives. Something beyond physics. Something beyond reason. They called it the Echo. That was the new name whispered through the galaxy. Not humans, not Earthlings, just the Echo, because that's what it felt like. Earth had become a reflection, a shadow, a silent reply to all the insults and betrayals the galaxy had thrown at them, a reply without words. Ships near human space started vanishing again. No wreckage, no survivors. Only long, silent beacons left behind, sending out old human messages, poems, stories, songs from a forgotten time. But every message ended the same way. You had your chance. Now, listen to the stars. Planets began cutting off contact with the Council, not in anger, but in fear. They wanted no part in what was coming. They had seen what Earth had become, and they wanted to be far away when Earth finally decided to speak again. But not everyone stayed silent. One brave leader, the Grolan Prime Minister Elkan Var, sent A direct transmission to Earth. It was risky, but he didn't care. He spoke clearly. "I do not fear you," he said, "but I do not hate you. We see now that we were wrong. If there is still a path, we would like to walk it beside you." There was no answer for 2 days. Then, on the third day, a signal came. It was not a voice. It was a visual, a single image, a great black ring hovering in the skies above Mars. It pulsed slowly, like a beating heart. Around it, dozens of unknown ships floated in silence, and one sentence appeared on screen. "When the stars forget your name, we will still remember who turned away first." That was all. The message vanished. But something had changed. Because now Earth was no longer just quiet. It was speaking, through actions, through images, through presence. And still, they had not fired a single shot. That terrified the Council more than anything. Because when power does not shout, it is often the strongest kind. In quiet meetings across the stars, whispers became plans. Some wanted to beg Earth for forgiveness. Others wanted to build weapons, prepare for war, but it was already too late. Earth had taken a step forward, out of the silence, out of the shadows, into something new, and no one knew what they would do next. But everyone knew one thing. The galaxy would never know peace until Earth spoke its final word. The signal came during the Third Council Summit. All the high races were there: Centauri, Koran, Varnari, Drevon, and even the cold-eyed Grolin. They had gathered in the sky vault above Tyrannus, a giant city in the stars, to discuss one thing: Earth. The room was tense. No one smiled. The Koran warlords demanded stronger patrols. The Varnari wanted to reopen peace talks. The Dreven suggested building a wall of defense gates between Earth's zone and the rest of the galaxy. But before they could finish, the lights flickered. The air shifted. Every screen in the sky vault changed. No warning, no access trace, no data trail. Just a blank black screen, and then static. Then a single sound. Not a voice. A tone. Deep, soft, slow, like a heartbeat through metal. Boom, boom, boom. Then, a line of words appeared on every screen. "We offered peace. You offered silence. We gave warning. You sent pride." The tone stopped. The room went completely still. The Council's highest technopaths scrambled to find the source. Nothing. No satellite, no ship, no gate had sent the signal. It came from inside their systems but left no footprint. Then the message changed again. "Now hear this." Suddenly the walls vibrated, a sound played. A recording. It was the voice of an alien commander. From 50 years ago, the room recognized it immediately. It was General Salten, the Dreven officer who first mocked Earth at the Grand Assembly. In the recording, he laughed. "They're only human," his voice said. "They'll scream when the stars turn against them." The laughter ended. Then the human voice returned. "We didn't scream. We learned. We listened. Now, we speak." And then everything went black. Every light, every backup, every screen. Dead for 13 full seconds. When the power came back, the signal was gone. But something else remained. A map. It glowed red on the central table of the sky vault. It showed dozens of red dots blinking across Council space, old battlefields, old skirmish sites, places where Earth had once been defeated, pushed aside, or ignored. Now, each dot blinked slowly, silently. One by one, the dots disappeared. Not exploded, not destroyed, just gone, as if someone had removed them from the galaxy itself. Council agents rushed to the locations. Empty. Nothing left. Not ruins, not traces, not even gravity scars. The places were just erased. Panic hit hard. Some said Earth had found a way to fold reality itself. Others whispered of new weapons, things that didn't burn or kill, just unmade. And the worst part? No one knew when it started. The Council had been watching for ships, for fleets, for invasions, but Earth had never sent ships. Just signals, just messages, just whispers. And still, they were winning. Inside the Council, fear began to break order. The Varnari ambassador fled the sky vault without speaking. The Koran delegation locked down their own cities, and the Grolan, they simply left. Walked out without a word. They understood now. This wasn't war, it was a reset. Earth had stopped asking for peace. Now they were removing the things that stood in its way. Some believed Earth was preparing something massive, a final move, a final message, one that would rewrite everything. But no one could see it, because Earth never showed itself. No ships, no fleets, no armies, only effects, only echoes, only silence. And still, the question haunted every mind. Where is the signal coming from? No one could trace it. It reached everywhere. All at once, planets, stations, ships, it didn't bounce, it didn't travel. It simply appeared. And wherever it appeared, something soon vanished. A satellite, a warship, a memory. The Council tried sending their best AI to track it. Nothing worked. They even tried to block all Earth frequencies, but the signal kept coming. Then, one day it appeared in a place no one expected, inside the dreams of a Varnari child. He woke up crying, repeating the words, "We are not gone. We are simply waiting." And you know what comes next. The Council called it madness. But deep down, they knew it wasn't. It was a pattern, and the pattern was getting faster. Soon, it would reach the heart of the Council. And when it did, the galaxy would finally hear what Earth had never truly said, not with words, not with ships, but with something far more powerful, something no one could stop, something no one could trace. Because this time, Earth wasn't knocking on the door, it was already inside. The galaxy had always worked through rules: talk, vote, agree. That was how the Council kept peace. Every species followed the same steps. But now, something had changed. Something old and quiet had become powerful. Earth. No more meetings. No more questions. No more asking. Earth had started choosing. It began on the border of Sector H12, where 3 small moons disappeared in one night. There were no explosions, no warships, no warnings. They were just not there anymore. Council scouts found nothing but dust and silence. The next day, a message appeared on all Council terminals. That sector once held human prisoners. You forgot them. We did not. Panic spread fast. Those prisons had been built 100 years ago, forgotten, covered up. The Council claimed they were just rumors. But Earth remembered. Earth kept records. And now, Earth was acting. Without permission. Without asking. Another disappearance followed. This time, an entire mining colony on Marnock 3. It had been built by the Dreven, but the land once belonged to Earth before they were removed from the region. Now the colony was gone. The land, empty again. Another message followed. Taken, not asked, reclaimed, not forgiven. The message was not angry. It didn't shout. It simply stated what had happened. Earth was not offering a deal. It was not looking for peace talks. It was cleaning up history. And it had already made its list. Every day, more places went quiet. Stations lost power. Trade routes collapsed. Ships disappeared. And yet still, Earth had not fired a single shot. That made it worse, because no one knew where to aim. No one knew how to stop something that never showed itself. A meeting was called at the Inner Council. Only the top 6 species were invited. The question was simple: how do we stop Earth? But the room stayed silent for too long, not because they didn't have answers, but because they were afraid of saying the wrong thing. Everyone remembered what happened to those who spoke against Earth. Still, one dared. The Zenthari general, Lurok, stood and raised his hand. "We strike now," he said. "They move in silence. We answer with fire." No one agreed. But no one stopped him. 3 days later, Lurok sent 10 elite stealth ships to Earth's outer rim. Each ship carried dark energy weapons. They were not meant to disable, they were meant to erase. But none of those ships ever reached Earth, not even close. They vanished near the gravity wells of Saturn. And the moment they were lost, every council world received the same message. Choice made. Answer given. You fired first. Now we answer once. That night, something lit up the skies of 3 council capitals. No explosion, no heat, just light, cold, silver-blue light that moved like a wave across the clouds. In every city touched. By the light, one thing happened. All weapons shut down. Permanently. No ship could lift off. No gun could fire. Even handheld tools refused to spark. No one was harmed. But everything stopped. The message followed. You call us dangerous, yet we have not harmed one life. You erased our people. We erased your weapons. The difference is choice. That was when the galaxy understood. Earth wasn't fighting a war. It was reshaping power, choosing what should stay and what should end. One Corran diplomat asked a question no one wanted to hear out loud. What happens when Earth finishes its list? There was no answer, but some believed the answer was already known. Earth didn't want revenge. It didn't want to lead the Council or destroy it. It wanted the galaxy to feel what it had felt for 100 years. Powerless. So Earth gave that feeling back, without violence, without noise, without mercy. On a small moon near 07, a group of humans appeared, not soldiers, not leaders, builders. They began to construct a ring, massive, glowing, reaching into the sky. The Council tried to send drones to watch it. Every drone fell from the air. Earth didn't hide this one. It wanted them to see. A Council message was sent. What is this ring? Is it a weapon? Earth responded not with words but with a sound. A slow heartbeat. Boom, boom. Then, a voice. It is not for war. It is for what comes after. What comes after? The Council asked again. Earth went silent. But they already knew. The age of permission was ending. Earth would no longer ask to be heard. No longer wait to be seen. No longer beg for a seat at the table. Because now, Earth was building its own table, and only those who listened would be welcome. The ring above Kairos 7 was complete. It stretched across the stars, glowing with soft white light, spinning slowly. The Council still didn't understand what it was. They only knew Earth had built it. Quietly. Without help. Without asking. And they knew one more thing. Something had changed. On the day the ring was finished, Earth sent one final signal. No code. No puzzle. Just a short, clear message. You chose silence. So now we return it. The signal ended. And with it, everything else did too. Council channels went dark. No contact. No reply from Earth. No more messages. No more warnings. Not even the heartbeat sound. The silence felt heavy. The Zenthari tried to scan the ring. Nothing. Their sensors passed through it like fog. The Corran prepared another fleet. But before they could launch, their command systems froze. Again. No damage, no attack, just silence. One by one, Council systems began to break. Trade stations slowed down. Supply routes failed. Gravity stabilizers stopped working in a dozen colonies. Every ship that tried to reach the edge of Earth's space disappeared or returned changed. Not destroyed, just silent. No memory of what happened. No data. No sound. Just silence in their minds. Some said Earth was erasing history. Others believed Earth was protecting something. But the oldest races, the ones who had seen stars born and burn, knew something else. Earth wasn't trying to rule. It was moving on. A single Grolan scientist said it best, "We are not watching Earth rise. We are watching it leave us behind." And that was true. Because deep inside the ring above Kairos 7, Something massive began to form. Not a weapon. A gate. Not a gate like the Council's. This one had no known tech, no fuel source. It shimmered like water and pulsed like light. The Council didn't know where it led. And Earth didn't say. A final emergency vote was called. Should they stop Earth? Should they launch everything they had? But no one pressed the button. They were too afraid. Not of Earth's power, but of what Earth had become. It was no longer the small, loud planet asking to be heard. It was something else now. Something calm, focused, unshakable. And in that quiet fear, something happened. For the first time in history, the Council chose silence. They didn't speak, they didn't act, they just watched. On the last day, hundreds of small human ships rose from Earth's edge, moving toward the ring. Sleek, silent, unlike anything seen before. They did not carry weapons. They carried people, old, young, scientists, farmers, builders. They were leaving, not escaping, not fleeing, just choosing something new. The Council tried to send one last message. Why? Why now? No answer came. But some believed the answer had already been given long ago. The galaxy had mocked Earth, pushed it down, refused to listen, and now Earth had stopped speaking. Not out of anger, but out of understanding. It had nothing more to prove. The galaxy would remain, but Earth had outgrown it. One by one, the ships entered the gate. No flash, no sound, just light. And then, gone. The gate pulsed, the ring dimmed, and finally the last signal arrived. Just 4 words. Simple, final. We remember. Do you? Then nothing. No more signals, no more ships, no more Earth. The homeworld still hung in space, quiet and blue but empty. The Council sent scouts. They found only quiet cities, clean, ready. But no people. No signs of where the humans had gone. Only silence. Not the kind filled with fear, the kind filled with choice. And so the galaxy, once full of pride, once full of laughter at Earth's expense, now sat still, remembering the moment it chose silence, and the moment Earth chose to walk away from it forever.